Yo, I am Axel. I am doing a video essay, well, this is the video essay of mine on looped animations. You can usually find looped animations in GIFs, which are graphic interchangeable formats. You find them on the internet and stuff. Everyone knows what they are nowadays. They're reaction GIFs and all sorts of things. People have edited them. They're a fun little trinket that the internet has come up with. The difference between regular GIFs, like ones that are taken from movies and stuff, or YouTube videos, is that you can tell when it stops and starts, because it doesn't loop altogether. Looped animations, which can also be GIFs, or formatted into GIFs, are a seamless animation because the ending frame is usually the first frame, and everything loops back together very well, and it creates a seamless flow, and you can't tell where it stops or starts. This is the thing I was interested in. It's actually used in industry. Disney do it. There is a good use of looped animations in walk cycles or in run cycles, just because it makes the animators work easier and less time consuming, because it is essentially just the same frame by frame over and over again for them progressing forward, and then they just move it along or make it get smaller. Anime also do it a lot. Same concept. It's usually walk cycles or run cycles. Sometimes they only have two images that they just kind of flick between if it's like a quite still movement, or just move it along the screen and stuff like that. You can get looped animations within like 2 frames. Usually it's a max of like 10. Freelance artists also use looped animations for commission work or icons or avatars or just for portfolio work, which is quite handy. It's a good skill to have to be able to create a seamless animation like that. It's generally just, it's useful, you know? It's useful. People like useful things. Animators like useful things that make their lives a little bit easier. It is commonly found in 2D, or originates in 2D because that was the original way of animating, but you can do it in Maya and 3D animation. You can also do it in stop-mo when you're editing, so you can create a movement and then go back and just copy the frames and paste them. But yeah, no, I started my looped animation. I decided I was going to make it over a still image, or 2 still images. So I actually didn't record my final product, but this is a tester to show just how it works. So I went into Photoshop and drew up a sketch, I drew up line art, I colored it all. So my plan was to have 2 still images. So I would create this original image and then I would edit it slightly by changing the face, not the face, the eyes and the mouth and stuff like that to make it look like he was blinking. So that when I did animate the tears, that he would like blink out the tears rather than just kind of staring forward, looking at you soullessly and crying. So I did all that. I'll show you the way I colored it first. So this is how I work. I do the background, and then I had a sketch, but you can't see that. And then I do the line art, and then I color the skin, the hair, and everything else. All those little details. And then also I did another one where he was blinking, obviously. And then I went into Toon Boom, and I had to resituate myself with Toon Boom because I hadn't used it in a while. So I imported the photos in and timed them up. You can't see this in this one because it doesn't have the 2, it just has 1. But I timed them up so it was intermittent blinking times, and then created a layer of drawing on top of it. One thing I didn't realize how to do was move the camera to fit the image, which is something I figured out later, but it was annoying at the time because I knew how to do it, but I couldn't remember how to do it. So yeah, no, I did a frame by frame of tears crying. So it was mainly like 3 frames per teardrop until it falls off his face. So I did the initial one where it's like welling in his eyes, and then it gets bigger, and then it drops, and then it goes down his face, and then it hits his chin, and then it falls off. That's kind of the way I did it. And it works pretty well. Like, I kind of didn't really time it in any way in particular. It was more of a gut feeling of where they should go, how long they should take. So I ended up doing that and looped it, and it actually worked out pretty well. Like, it looked pretty seamless. Like, it wasn't great, but it worked out pretty well. This is the final product I ended up with. I actually went onto the Giphy website because I wanted to loop it properly, because as it was just a movie, so it would stop eventually. So I put it into Giphy, which is just a website where you make GIFs of things, or of YouTube videos, or of files you have. And I put it in, and I realized that there was like a filter section, and I wanted to check that out because I've seen people use filters on my GIFs before. So I fiddled around and found one that I quite liked because it changed the colors and made it more harmonious. So I did that, and that's what this looks like. So yeah, this is the final, the final piece of my work after looking at like looped animations and how they work and stuff. And it's not great, like, it can be better. I could have actually animated all of it instead, but Toon Boom does drive me up the wall with the pencil tool because it changes your lines that you've drawn and it's quite stressful. So this is what I ended up with, essentially, and it's pretty decent. Like, I'm proud of it, and it was a long learning curve, and I have resituated myself with Toon Boom. I had to go Photoshop again, which I usually pay till Psy, so that was a time, and I kept using the C on the keyboard instead of the B, because that's what my shortcut is on my laptop for Psy, so it took a bit longer than it should have done, but essentially it's pretty good, and I'm quite proud of it. So yeah, thanks. This is a somewhat informative video essay, I guess, and the progress of how I got to this, and thanks for listening!